Hope everyone is doing good today. Hope everyone is having a good day. I'm here in Diniwid, Boracay Island in the Philippines. It's 5:12 a.m. here. Just getting my day started. I have my cup of coffee, my 3-in-1 Copico Blanca coffee. The weather here looks like it's gonna be a better weather today, but yesterday we still got a lot of sun yesterday. Windy, it was windy on Front Beach yesterday, White Beach, Boracay. Definitely the Habagat winds are now in Front Beach in Boracay Island. They start putting up those tall bamboo poles, at least I would say 15 feet, maybe even 20 feet high, with like plastic. Because what happens with all the winds, all that sand starts hitting some of the businesses where people are having breakfast. So the hotels and restaurants, they put up this structure. I'm going to try to film it the next time. I forgot to film it yesterday, but I did film the beach yesterday. You could see, I mean, the waves are like strong. Now, usually, Front Beach, it's like calm. You can paddleboard. Not many paddleboard going on at Front Beach right now. It's on the back beach now. Bulabog Beach is now. That's the calm beach now. But Front Beach, I mean, but it was beautiful though because the water, the waves. It's just sun. You know, the sun was up. You know, just a spectacular view of White Beach, Boracay. It's like I just love this time of the year because you get both. You know, not during the summer months. It's just so hot. Sometimes you know you don't even feel like walking on White Beach or even over the canopy with all the coconut trees. And people that's been here in Boracay know what I'm talking about. Like if they come here like March, April, May, during the day, sometimes it's just so unbearable, like unbearably hot. But right now, man, it's so breezy. Coconut trees are swaying. It was fun. There's people doing maintenance. I noticed they were like putting guy going up the coconut tree, cutting down the coconut leaves because some of that stuff falls, and even the coconuts, you know, they have to constantly remove all that coconut because you know there's a lot of coconut trees on White Beach, and you don't want that stuff falling on any of the tourists. But amazing day yesterday. We really had fun walking around White Beach. The weather in the Philippines. No weather system as far as like typhoons or anything like that in the Philippine area of responsibility. But we are getting rain in the Philippines due to the monsoon rains in the Philippines. In Zambales, Bataan, Occidental Mindoro, Palawan, and Antique, we're having monsoon rains. And then in Metro Manila today, they're expecting Calabarzon, Bicol region, Caraga, Davao, Pangasinan, the rest of Visayas, Luzon, and Mimaropa, cloudy skies with scattered rain and thunderstorms. So pretty much the entire Philippines is going to see some kind of rain today. Not all day rain, but you know, it'll rain, sun will come up, you know. So the rest of Mindanao, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. That's just the weather here in the Philippines come this time of the year. You know, we're getting into the middle of June now, you know, especially like towards the end of June, beginning of July, you know, it's like my birthday is not till 1 August and Dazzle's birthday is like end of July. And we always talk about this, how the weather during our birthday growing up, it was always like rainy season. We always, as a matter of fact, when I was growing up in Manila, in my birthday, a lot of times they would suspend school because I lived in Quezon City in Manila, and then my school was in Manila, in Letran, in Intramuros. And If people know about Manila, like España Road, what's the other? There's like the roads in Manila, even back in the 70s, it didn't take much rain and it'd be flooded. It'd be like waist high flood already because I guess it's below sea level, most of the areas anyway, and then they always had problems with like clogging up the drainage system with trash and all that. It hasn't been changed. It's been like that since the 70s and until today. It doesn't take much rain to like flood in Manila. All right, Joel. Good morning, Joel. Arlene, good morning, good morning. Got my cup of coffee here, Joel and Eileen, just getting my day started. Dazzle, of course, is sleeping. She's gonna be sleeping good today, I know, because yesterday we've been doing pickleball the last 2 days, and then yesterday walking around in Boracay. That's what you do. You just walk. It's like I think we walked to like all the way close to Willis Rock, and then all the way to La Carmela, then we walked to the main road. We went grocery shopping. There's a new Save More grocery on the main road, close to like Station X. That's where the new and even the Save More here, they built the Save More like you have to climb like three stories high. It seems like a stairs just to go to the grocery. So a lot of walking for Dazzle and I yesterday. So we ended up like at Lake Town. There's this place called Spa Wars, and it's a foot spa place, and it's been a long time, like for me to even have any foot spa or anything like that, and it was really good. I mean, it's like a 1 hour foot spa. It was 700 pesos a person, so that's about $13 a person. And it's not just your foot that they massage. They massage your calf, they massage your thighs, pretty much your whole leg. And there was portions where she had felt hands, the one that massaged my legs. So I was like kind of, it wasn't painful, but it felt good actually because, with all the pickleball we've been doing, my knees, it felt good. But like afterwards, I was just so sleepy. And that was like maybe 7 p.m. So by the time we finished with the foot spa, we went back here to the Airbnb, and I was out. The minute I walked in, I was like, I hit the bed and I was asleep. Dazzle, she woke up a little earlier this morning. We were talking. She said she fell asleep about 8:30 and then till around 12:30 a.m. and then we talked a little bit, and then she fell back to sleep, and now I'm awake. But like she's gonna be sleeping good, I know, because like my legs feel good. I mean, like they feel so refreshed. It's like I was telling Dazzle, we were talking last night before she went back to bed. I was like, man, I have to we have to do more of this foot spa thing. Now I know what the thing is all about. Why there's like foot spa here now in Boracay, like at D Mall, that one at Lake Town, at the mall there's a Robinson Mall here in Boracay Island. We've been there before when they were still newly opened, but we haven't been in a while. So we're gonna check that out soon. But I saw the sign. They had this place there called Footsies. So this thing about this foot massage is like becoming popular here in Boracay. So we're gonna have to check that one out too at Robinson Mall here in Boracay Island. How are you today? I'm doing good. Man, like I was saying, that foot massage, man, I gotta do that more often, man. That's like my legs are like feeling good. It's like I'm ready to do some walking again today. JP, I'll be back. I'm still working. Save the good stuff. I'll save the good stuff. All right. I don't know about the good stuff, JP, but glad you can join the live stream. Glad you can join. We'll be here. I'm sure. This will last at least 2 hours if the internet allows it. Over here. And then we had another power outage yesterday. Not long again. Maybe like yesterday was maybe 30 minutes. But it seems like because rainy season, it's like that's just typical here in Boracay. You know immediately when the power outage happens, you hear all the generators, so lots of generators now here in Boracay. I'm getting used to your daily 5 a.m. All right, that's all right. I'll keep doing it, because like people seem to enjoy it. I get messages, and then we get people going on the live stream, and I'm awake anyway, so it's not like I'm doing a lot of things here in Boracay. Pretty much we're just having fun. Yesterday, I found some tamales. Man, I have not eaten tamales in so long. Like, these are authentic tamales. These aren't like, they have a version of tamales here in the Philippines. It's more like like sticky rice, a little bit of sticky rice. But this one, it's wrapped even in that corn wrapper. Like it really, and then when you open it, it's like the legit. This is like tamales that I used to eat in San Antonio, Texas. And I'm like, man, I couldn't believe it. It's a restaurant. I never noticed that restaurant on White Beach. I don't know how long they've been there. It's called Muchos. Muchos. It's what was the? It was right beside. I'm trying to remember. I don't want to make a mistake. Army Navy. It's right beside the Army Navy, and I've eaten so many times at Army Navy. I like their burrito at Army Navy. Army Navy is a franchise. Burgers and burrito place in the Philippines. It's not just here in Boracay, but it's right beside. It's a little like restaurant. I mean, you would have not even noticed it because I guess because before I was always so focused on going to Army Navy, I don't even look. I was like, I gotta get my burrito. So it was like, I saw the restaurant. It's like it says. Peruvian, it's like Mexican, Peruvian, but man, they were delicious. Dazzle, she ate prawns. I can't eat prawns because, they have these prawns, this good size, they're bigger shrimp is the prawns, almost kind of like a mini lobster in a skewer, and they have like a salsa or chimichurri or something. But Dazzle said it was delicious, but I can't eat it because now I'm now allergic to shrimp and unfortunately I'm allergic to shrimp. Allergic to oyster, anything shellfish. I even have to be careful with fish. There's only certain fish that I can eat. Because I think I was never allergic to anything before, but when I went through my treatments, my immune system has weakened, and I guess that's part of it. One of the parts is like I'm now allergic to things, so I gotta watch. Be careful of what I eat. But Dazzle said it was delicious. I ended up having the barbacoa taco. Man, that was legit. And I like how in the Philippines it's hard to find like corn tortilla, and they had corn tortilla. I was like, I couldn't believe it, man. I said, man, where have you been? Because everything you eat here, like if you eat a soft burrito, it's always like the flour tortilla, and then even like the hard shell tacos, you're never gonna get like a good hard shell taco here because they try to imitate it, of course, and then even the brands that they sell at SNR, a lot of times, they're not the best taco shells because you don't know how long that taco shell made, but the one at Muni Muni too, they have a good taco shell that their own homemade taco. But I love Mexican food. I love like Tex-Mex. That used to be my favorite. I lived in San Antonio, Texas for 4 years. I miss that food. That's why when I found this place, Muchos, I was like, mucho dinero. I was like, muchos gracias. I was so happy, man. I was so happy. But now I have a place in Boracay to eat tamales. I got good corn tortilla tacos, so I'm all set now, man. Shiva good Jalami. Oh, thank you, thank you. So kind, so kind. Thank you. Oracle. Hi, hello, Oracle. SD. I wonder if SD stands for South Dakota. I don't know. I don't know your, the abbreviation sometimes. But the art chairs. Hey Gino, are you still in Boracay? Yes, yes, we're still in Boracay. We're gonna be in Boracay till June 30. June 30. The whole month of June. We actually got here May 30th, but the whole month of June will be in Boracay Island at this Airbnb. And it's in Diniwid, the Diniwid area. More local here in Diniwid. Not a lot of restaurants here. Mostly sari-sari stores here, and their snack bar, but they're Filipino style. Most of the food that's served, karinderia. There's a lot of karinderia here. But we're by this Airbnb is called RAV Residence, and our Airbnb here costs 20,000 pesos for the whole month. So that's about $350 for the whole month for this Airbnb. 5-minute walk to Diniwid Beach. And this time of the year, it's just nice here in this area because it's so breezy now. Habagat winds have usually the winds here in Boracay Island. It's on Bulabog Beach, which is called Back Beach. But come June, if it switches. Now the winds are on the front beach area, Bulabog Beach, and here in Diniwid. As a matter of fact, I think Dazzle was telling me yesterday, they even changed, like usually during summer months, when you come to Boracay, when you land at Boracay Airport, when you go to the terminal to catch the ferry to Boracay, you go to the Katiklan port. And they drop you off at the Cagban port here in Boracay. But because of the winds, because of the waves, you now have to go to Tabon port, where Dazzle's land is, in Tabon. We bought land there in Tabon. It's like a 5-minute walk to Tabon port. And when then you take the ferry from mainland Aklanside at Tabon port, they drop you off at the Tambisaan port here in Boracay. They just flipped that, because of the waves. There's more waves now on Front Beach, and then more wind. What are the SAG? Ooh, I don't know what the SAG. I don't know what the abbreviation is. SAG. Okay. Edgar, what months flood most in Boracay? Boracay doesn't really flood. It's an island. It's a small island. The water drains. There are alleys. I guess, and they're fixing it. Because on that last video that we did, the alley where Dazzle and I walked in Ambulong area, I lived in that area before, so I'm familiar with that area. That used to flood. That alley used to flood. I mean, it's not like flood like a neck-high flood, but it'll have water like knee-high. And a lot of the problem before was drainage, because it's not like the island floods and everywhere you go on Boracay Islands floods. It's like this certain alleys in Boracay, when it rains a lot, you will have like knee-high water, but it's not gonna flood the whole island. Like Main Road, you can always, they've improved the drainage at Main Road, but certain alleys, I guess they just weren't, the drainage wasn't constructed right. So there are a few alleys, less and less now, because they are fixing it. Because a lot of the alleys now, you'll notice, like the one we walked on that video, it's brick now. I was like, man, I was impressed, man. They put like brick alley where you can walk on the brick, So they're improving Boracay. I know the infrastructure is being built here. Asia Pacific Medical Center is getting built at New Coast. Several construction projects. We're talking like massive buildings that they're building here in Boracay. So Boracay is gonna be around. People are just like, oh, tourism's down, all that. I don't believe that, man. These developers, they know what they're doing. They're not putting millions of dollars into this island, building these communities. As a matter of fact, yesterday on the way back here, this lady, she lives in this Airbnb. I guess she's renting one of these Airbnb. She sells, I guess, units at Boracay Nucos, and she said she can take me to Boracay. It's the condominiums that I showed you at Nucos. That's just one part of Boracay Nucos. There's an area where they call it Boracay Village, and I haven't been there, but I've heard that there's some massive houses there, private homes that people build. Like these are million, like I would even say like $500,000 homes in the US, you know, or even here. They paid like $500,000 to build the home. So I'm eager. I was like, oh yeah, really? You can show me that house, you know. I was like, I was happy she reached out because people have seen me blogging here in Diniwid. So people are like coming up to me and telling me stuff about, oh, you need to blog this next. You got to blog us, you know. So, you know, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be happy to show you the Nucos. Nucos Village is what they call. This is basically a subdivision inside of Boracay Nucos with like expensive houses. You know, it's not gonna be cheap houses, you know, but I wanted to show you that. And I think the lady's gonna be able to take me there and I can show that on film. But it doesn't, Edgar, but it doesn't flood in Boracay. I lived here for 18 months and I've never seen a flood here. You know, it's like I said, certain alleys will get like, you know, water, but the water doesn't stay long. The minute the rain stops, you know, it'll drain out to the ocean. You know, it's like, you know, it's like, but I do know people show that on YouTube, you know. You know, there's people that get a lot of views because they show negative stuff about the Philippines. If I showed negative things about the Philippines, I'll have more viewers. I'll have more subscribers. But to me, it's like I never focus on the negative here in the Philippines. I rather focus on the good stuff, the positive things. I'll mention it, you know, I'll mention some of the negative things like adjusting here to the Philippines. It's not, you know, being patient here in the Philippines, not available, you know, even at that restaurant, you know, muchos, I mean, great food, awesome food. But like every time I pointed at something, they said, sorry, sir, but not available. We don't have the fish tacos because we don't have tuna, you know. I'm like, no tuna. I mean, I see so many tuna in Boracay Island, but I understand, you know, they have their own suppliers, but I focus on the good. Yeah, I focus on like, ooh, they got tamales, you know, they got barbacoa, you know, it's like, so, you know, it is, you know, that's how I do things, you know, it's like, that's why when we eat at restaurants, I always just show the good stuff in the restaurant. If we eat in the restaurant, if we didn't like the restaurant, I'm not gonna film that. You know, it's like I'm not gonna ruin somebody's business, or I'm not gonna go viral just because I'm knocking a mom and pop restaurant. You know, I would never do that. You know, I remember the roads in the new Santa Mesa. Oh, I know, right? Joel, like. You know, I grew up, like I said, out in Quezon City. I used to take that jeepney. I would pass España in Manila, Santa Cruz, that area, you know, where the San Lazaro Hippodrome by the Chinese hospital. Man, that area always flooded. Even Retiro in Quezon City used to flood. It doesn't even take much rain and that area floods. And I see videos now of España, it still floods, you know, so, because, you know, there's areas in Manila, you know, like Marikina. Marikina is like known for like, it don't take much rain if you live in Marikina. You're used to the flood on those areas. What are the safer areas for flooding in this area? In this area, in Boracay, everything's safe in Boracay, man. This is like, Boracay is the, you know, one of the top tourist destinations here in the Philippines. They get over 2 million tourists here every year, over 200,000 tourists every month. So they're making sure that they're improving Boracay. Maybe the people that you watch on YouTube, you know, they're knocking, you know, it's a tourist trap, you know, all that. But all I've seen, I've been coming to Boracay. I lived here for 18 months, 2011, 2012. All I've seen is improvement in Boracay. It's like we now have sidewalks on the main road, brick sidewalks. You can pretty much walk the whole island now. Before, when I first got here, you had to walk on the street, and watch out for cars, watch out for tricycles. I mean, no, hardly any cars here, mostly tricycles. And even tricycles before, then tricycles were like polluting the island with like the muffler and the noise. Tricycles are loud, but now they have e-trikes. I mean, the e-trikes are like, it's humming. You're booking it fast on the e-trikes, and they're quiet. They're electric. The roads used to be terrible here in Boracay. If you had to go from Cagbanpur to the D Mall to Barangay Yapak, man, the roads were horrible. It's like you had to go to like bumpy roads here. Now it's all cemented. So I've seen it. I've seen the progress of Boracay. It's like they're constantly improving Boracay for a better experience for tourists. Jackie Chan. All right, Jackie Chan. I'm a fan of Jackie Chan, man. I love me some Jackie Chan, man. Jalen Burton, hello guys. I hope you're enjoying your anniversary. Our anniversary, our 9th wedding anniversary is actually last April. So June, we just decided, Dazzle and I, we went here back in May with Leanna. Dazzle got me this light, because like the automatic lights here cut off at a certain time when it gets light outside. So Dazzle got me this light right here. So it's not gonna be so dark now. But we were here last May with Leanna a few days, and then we were just talking, and I was just telling Dazzle, we should spend a whole month in Boracay, just random, unplanned, because for our anniversary this year, last April, we had planned on going to Singapore for a few days, at least a week. We were thinking about. I already saved money. For the trip to Singapore. But Dazzle didn't want to fly. She didn't want to fly this year because of all the, she's not good at flying anyway. She hates flying. And then she's seen all the crashes on YouTube. Here in the Philippines, there have been a few crashes of airplanes. So, it discouraged her from flying. So I was like, so I had the money saved up anyway. So in May, I was saying, hey babe, why don't we stay in Boracay for a month and just have fun in Boracay? So that's what we're doing. We're doing things now that we've been coming to Boracay. For since we got married and in 2016, 9 years. But there's still things now that we haven't done. It's like restaurants that we haven't eaten. It's like I don't think you can really. Do everything in Boracay like in 4 or 5 days. You really have to stay here a long time to like see more of Boracay, because a lot of the businesses too would close, or a lot of business will open. New businesses are popping up. It's just a lot of new things. Like if you haven't been to Boracay, like let's say 5 years, you'll be amazed. If you come back to Boracay, if you haven't been here 5 years, you're gonna be blown away by Boracay now. Balikbayan guy, good morning, Balikbayan guy. Good to see you, good to see you. Kumusta? Mabuti ako, kaibigan. I had a good night, because we were tired yesterday, running around, doing our thing, restaurant, walking, a lot of walking. That's the thing in Boracay, man. There's a lot of walking. And then for the first time, Dazzle and I did that foot spa together. And man, that just relaxed me so well, man. But like I said, by the time, I think 7:30 is when I fell asleep. I slept good. I did not feel anything till like around 2 a.m. Dazzle was awake. I noticed she was awake, and then we talked a little bit, and then she went back to sleep. Loved the video last night. Everyone okay at the fire? Yes, everything okay in the fire. No damage. It was just a minor fire. They were able to put it out the fire. No injuries. But that's always scary here in Boracay when they have fires here. A good thing they got now, I've noticed they got more fire trucks now. In 2011, I don't remember seeing fire trucks. I've seen a fire here in Boracay before where it was like the bucket brigade. It was like people had buckets and garden hoses trying to put out a fire. But now I can see I saw fire trucks in New Coast Boracay, and then on that video you see them zooming past the main road, because Boracay is tricky because like a lot of hills in Boracay, like even on the main road, if you're on the main road, you can look up like 50 feet, maybe even 75 feet. And all these, it's a hillside. There's a lot of houses on the hillside, even light material houses like bamboo, nipa, wood. So if one of those houses catch fire, and it's happened here where I've seen two big fires in Boracay. One was that there used to be a place called Talipapat on the main road close to me, where they used to have like cooked seafood there, like you can live seafood. There used to be a public market there. There used to be restaurants, there shops. Whole area got burned, because of fire, because they couldn't stop the fire. And then another fire a few years ago up on that hill by Ambulong, near the Muslim. There's a mosque. There's how do you pronounce that? Like a Muslim where they do their a mosque, yeah. Near that area, and that area got burned, a few years ago. So they're always worried about fire here because during the summer months everything gets so dry, and one trigger of fire, the houses here, a lot of the houses here are still built on light material, not cement. And wood, bamboo, nipa, that just catches fire fast. But everybody was okay. Nobody got hurt in the fire. Colayot Adventures. Hi, nice to hear. They say tamales. Yeah, I know. I saw a comment. Replied back that a subscriber was saying that he's been here, I think 5 or 6 years, and he's never found tamales here. And me too, man. I've been here 14 years. I've never found tamales here, but they do have tamales. It's one of those things. It's weird. Like when you're here in the field, like me, I've been here now 14 years. There's just some things that you miss about the US, food mostly for me, because I have always been a foodie. I love food. It's like one of the things that I dream about eating is like a Sonoran hot dog. In people that's in Tucson, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and Arizona, they know about the Sonoran hot dog. It's a hot dog, but it's got so much stuff on it. It's like, I've never had that here. I know I'll never find that in the Philippines. That's one of the things I'll probably never get to eat again. I hope their tacos have cilantro too. You know what? I should have noticed that if they had cilantro is difficult to find here in the Philippines. I've had it, but it's not common. Cilantro is not a common thing. That's why a lot of time Mexican food doesn't it just doesn't quite hit that spot. But man, this muchos, if you eat this muchos, man, they know what they're doing, man. The barbacoa, the shredded veggies, the chimichurri, the salsa. I mean, it's on point, and you won't be disappointed. I highly recommend that restaurant. And I'm not getting paid by them. I'm not like advertising them or anything. I was just amazed. Their tamales even came with it's not the guacamole that I've had in the US, because the guacamole I've had in the US is like, kind of dense, kind of thick. You can actually see slices of tomatoes, onions on it. The guacamole they had was more creamy, it's like, but it was good. It was like, it got a nice kick to it. They put some spice in it. I'm glad I found that restaurant, because now when people ask me where to go for Mexican food, I will tell them that, because that's been the best. Their birria tacos. I had the shredded beef with cheese, birria. They deep fry the whole taco and you dip it in that au jus sauce. Man, that was like, man, I want to eat that again, man. I'm nowhere, Dazzle and I will go back to that restaurant. That was so good. Adobo chicken. Lumpia, right? Yeah, lumpia. I mean, adobo, chicken adobo, pork adobo, lumpia. Those, I always tell people, when they come to the Philippines, if they've never had Filipino food, that is usually the best recommendation I can tell them. It's a good starter to Filipino food, you know. If you eat pancit, the lumpia, the egg roll, because everybody eats egg roll. I mean, even in the U.S., Chinese restaurants serve egg roll. Vietnamese, you got that spring rolls that they serve. So lumpia is always a good starter. And then just to start on Filipino food, chicken adobo, because it's cooked in vinegar, soy sauce, garlic. Filipinos know how to cook. That's a good starter to Filipino food, because I know many people that don't eat Filipino food. Friends of mine that's here in the Philippines that they just won't. And understand, because it's not a food that they're used to. Like kare-kare. Kare-kare is like one of my favorite food. It's like it's either pork or beef with vegetables. Usually they put string beans, eggplant, all kinds of vegetables in. But it's in a soup base that's like a creamy soup that's got peanut butter. You mentioned peanut butter in food, that's like people are like, oh, I don't know about that now, and then they serve it with like a fermented shrimp paste. So those are like the more difficult Filipino food, for people that haven't eaten Filipino food, it's hard to go over to the other side, the dark side. Yeah, but what else? Like, and of course, people like the Filipinos here, when you attend parties here in the Philippines, if you're a foreigner, they'll have dishes like dinuguan. Dinuguan is like a popular Filipino dish. You'll see it at most parties here in the Philippines. And it's colored dark, the dark color, and it's got blood in it, pig blood on it. So, that's why, I think that's why a lot of, foreigners are going like, I'm not going to eat that, and then they shun the rest of the Filipino food. But man, there's a lot of good Filipino food, like lechon, man, you got to eat lechon. You got to try crispy pata, man, that crispy pata, that pig, the whole pig meat with the knuckles and everything, that tendon, they deep fry it, man, to me, man, it's like, that's delicious. Might not be good for the heart because of all the cholesterol, but it's good stuff, man, good stuff. Daniel Garcia, Peruvian, talarines, verde, with steak. I'll have to look, because that restaurant, the Muchos, they had on their menu, they had like, on parentheses, Mexican, and then Peru. They had Peru in there, we even had like it was cauliflower skewers was one of the things that we ate. And the cauliflower, it looks like they fried it a little bit. There was like a coating on the like a breading, light though, light. It's not like covered, you can still see the cauliflower, and they put it in a skewer. Everything we ate was delicious. They even have horchata. I was like, I had a horchata. I have not had horchata in like since I've been here. I can't remember if I ever drank horchata. I mean, it wasn't the best horchata. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't the best horchata that I had, but I was just happy they had it on the menu, because I like my horchata with a little bit more cinnamon and nutmeg. It was horchata. I could tell it was horchata, but I think they missed on the nutmeg and on the cinnamon. Not enough of it. Thank you for answering my PM question about different names of the. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You asked me about what the Ita, what the Negrito, what the Bajau. I remember, man. That's what I'm saying to people, man. When they ask me, it don't have to be about the Philippines. It don't have to be. It could be like random question. I'll research it. I have an idea on what it was, and I'll make sure I give a good answer. I'm glad you reached out. I'm glad you reached out, Jaylin. Lumpia, Daniel. All right, Lumpia. Edgar, I was remembering you telling us about Calibo flooding and not to. Yes, yeah. Calibo and Boracay are totally separate. I mean, Calibo is in the mainland, Aklan. Boracay Island is a separate island. You gotta get ferried over here. And you're correct. In Calibo is like, I think the reason why there's flood prone areas in Calibo is because of the river. Aklan River is like right next to Calibo. So certain sections of Calibo, not all of Calibo, because Calibo's big, just like anywhere else in the United States. They'll show you a flood area. Like when I lived in Arizona, there's place flood area. This is Arizona. They had flash flood areas in Arizona. Same thing in Calibo. That's why I always tell people, if they come to Calibo, go get your Airbnb first, check out the area, ask the people, hey, does it flood here? And when I got my apartment, I moved into that apartment 2012. I got an apartment in Calibo. I think I moved in there like August. I know June because of the school, because I started school. In December, they had a flood, and I was just lucky because like I was on the second floor. My first floor neighbor, half of their apartment was underwater, and then when the water receded, it didn't last long. It lasted like maybe half a day, but they had all that mud. They have all that mud in their apartment. So I was lucky that I chose a second floor apartment. But you got to if you do move here, Edgar. I'll help you out, man. I'll steer you right. I'm not gonna. You can ask me what areas if you decide to check out Calibo. I'm not gonna put you in an apartment that's gonna be flooded, man. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of my people, man. I'll take care of my people. Marks. Hello from Netherlands. All right. Welcome Netherlands. I love it when somebody like puts in there I'm from Spain, the Netherlands, Norway. I love that. It's just so cool that people watch our channel from all over the world. It's an honor for me to be able to speak to other people in other nations. Thank you very much for joining the live stream. Man, I have to watch my cholesterol and blood pressure eating the food over there. My family and I are on low. Hey, man, that's the thing. You gotta watch. I mean, it's not hard. Even Filipinos now are conscious about health. It's not like it used to be when you and I grew up. I grew up in the '70s. It's like a lot of Filipino back in the 70s, a lot of fat, a lot of, they still have that, but not as much, not as much. They are starting, Filipinos here in the Philippines, I know many are starting to be more health conscious. It wouldn't be hard to keep your diet, here in Boracay, there's a lot of restaurants here. Smoothie bowls. You can have smoothie bowls. A lot. There's vegan restaurants here. So it's not hard if you want to. I've noticed though with the vegan, man, they're a little pricey. That's why we don't eat there. I mean they're healthy and all that, but man, they're pricey. Because the ingredients got to be organic and preparation of the food. I think it's harder. Everything in moderation is up the way I look at it. I exercise. I'm not gonna just stop eating good food. It's just that I won't eat it every day. Everything. When I'm at home, I'm eating like oatmeal, granola, salad. Fruits. But when I go out, I do want to treat myself. I want to eat good food, especially here in Boracay, because we don't have this kind of food in Calibo. Like I cannot eat like a good Mexican food in Calibo. I can't even find a good Italian food in Calibo. Calibo is like your typical town in the Philippines where carinderias, fast food. You have Jollibee, you have McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts. More cafes are being introduced. But even in the cafes, it's hit or miss because even ordering a simple hamburger, a cheeseburger, you have to ask. You have to ask, hey, what kind of meat do you use on your burger? Do you use like all beef? You know, that kind of thing. Because sometimes, you know, I had gotten like even a simple hamburger ordering at a cafe in Calibo and take a bite, and I'm going like, this just doesn't taste right. You know, so it's better food, definitely better food here in Boracay because this is a tourist destination. You know, it's like many foreigners come here. You know, it's like I can walk White Beach yesterday, and I'm seeing foreigners from all over the world in Boracay. So that's why they have to have Indian food here. They have to have Thai food here, Spanish food, Olay at D Mall. You know, you can get like British food here, Irish food. You know, they serve. You know, they have all the foods that you want here in Boracay. Mary Reyes, all right, Mary, glad you can join us, Mary, glad you can join us. What would be a rental rates for a two-bedroom apartment in Boracay? It depends. You know, it depends on like the standard. You know, the standard that you want. Like here in Diniwid, like a two-bedroom here in Diniwid probably gonna cost you about 25,000 to 30,000 pesos for a two-bedroom, furnished two-bedroom, hot water, internet. So I would say about 500 to $550. But now, if you want to live the high life, if you want to live the good stuff, you know, the good living, you can live at Boracay New Coast, and you can live there. I would say the starting point is like on the video I did, it was 60,000 pesos, so about a little over $1,000. But you're living in like a Western style condominium, two-bedroom condo, washer and dryer in the, you know, all the appliances, full refrigerator, a view of the ocean, a view of the golf course, swimming pool, gym, you know, that kind of living. You're looking at about 1,100. Now the locals like me, you know, like I can live even cheaper than this place, this Airbnb, because you know I don't need hot water. I can live like I can find something cheaper, two-bedroom in Boracay, but it'd be hard at this point to find anything even cheaper than this Airbnb. I can probably get a two-bedroom for like 20,000 if I wanted to. So about $350. That would be the low end of a two-bedroom, but so low end of like 350 to the high end of like 1,100. You know, I mean, like that's like two different scale there. If you're living at that New Coast two-bedroom private beach, you got like there's buses there, like the hop on, hop off bus. You can take you everywhere. That's the thing with Boracay. It's like you don't need a car here. You know, nobody has a car here. The only vehicles that you see here, the vans, they're owned by the resorts, or owned by the hotel. Nobody is allowed to. I can't take my private vehicle to Boracay. It costs much money anyway to ship it here, but I wouldn't even know how they would do that, you know. But you're allowed to have a motorbike, a motorcycle, but you have to get a permit for that. There's a special permit that you got to get from the municipality of Malay. So even that is being limited because they don't want to overcrowd the island. They want to use the e-trikes as the main transportation. They went green with the e-trikes here in Boracay. But if you live like at New Coast, I don't need a vehicle here. I lived here for like 18 months and all I had was a mountain bike. You don't need a vehicle because the island's so small. You know, it's not like you need a car or even a motorbike just to get around. You know, it's like the hop on, hop off bus. All you do is you buy this card, you load the card, kind of like a cell phone. And when you hop on the bus, they're like, you know, scan your thing, hop on the bus, and then just you're good. And it goes all around the island. I see it all around the island now. The hop on bus. It's a tiny bus. It's not like a full-size bus. It's almost like just a little bigger than a van, you know, a little bigger than a van. But I see it all over the island. They'll just stop at the certain stops and people come on and off. So widely used in Boracay. Tim C, hey, my good friend in Las Vegas. Hey man, are you on Planet Fitness? Are you working out on Planet Fitness, dude? Yo, Ginno. All right, good morning. You still on your first cup Of three, yeah, yeah. I really just drink 1 cup in the morning, and then during the day, like maybe in the afternoon, if I'm like getting tired or sleepy, I'll have a latte. But the most I ever drink coffee in a day is like two. That's like a limit. You know, I have to control. You know, like I said, everything in moderation. I don't want to like, I'm still recovering from cancer, so I don't want to do anything over the top. Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Watching you twice, LOL. My good friend Kip in Tucson, Arizona. Hey, good to see you on the live stream, Kip. Appreciate you, and you're always in my thoughts and prayers, brother. It's like you're one of the good guys, man. Wish I could comment from the work. Oh, no worries, man. It's like I know you're watching us. It's like Dazzle and I actually talk about you, Kip. We're always like, we're rooting for you, man. We hope everything works out with your health. Good morning, JB Banalang. Good morning, JB. Good morning. HD, all right, my good friend HD. Our only moderator in our chat. Oh, we do have two. I'm sorry. Darren is another one, but Darren's busy. I think Darren's actually, he was planning a trip to the US back in Pennsylvania because he's got to take care of something to do with his, my friend Darren, he's from Pennsylvania, but he's been here in the Philippines for over 2 years now. At first, when he was first coming here, he was planning on like splitting time between Pennsylvania and the Philippines, but he met a young lady, so he's got a partner now here. So he's staying here more, and now, I wouldn't be surprised if he like just because he owns a house in Pennsylvania, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just like bails on that house and lives in the Philippines full time. If you're sweating hard, way, I did a very strenuous hike, 22 miles. Wow, mountain too. Oh man, and lost a lot of salt. The local food is because of the yeah. Like Dazzle and I, HD. Every time we do pickleball, then because I didn't realize pickleball. Well, I guess because they didn't have air conditioning at City Mall Boracay where they have pickleball. It's kind of like the 3 courts. And it's on the 2nd floor. Man, it's hot there anyway to begin with. And when you start playing pickleball, man, I was just sweating so much. It's like running out of gas. Dazzle, of course, she can go like hours, nothing to Dazzle playing pickleball. So now we're buying, before we go there, we buy like a Pocari Sweat. I learned a Pocari Sweat when I was in Japan. So we each have our Pocari Sweat. We're loading up. Even before there, like I have my cocoa water, Vita Coco. I'm drinking that before I even go to play pickleball, because I know I'm going to be sweating a lot on playing pickleball, and we enjoy it. I mean, it's an activity that I'm gonna hope now. I'll do research that they have pickleball in Calibo, because Dazzle and I are hooked. We love it. I used to be a tennis player. I played a lot of tennis, so this is kind of my pace now. Pickleball, because I don't think I can play tennis as good as I used to be, but I can still I can play pickleball because it's shorter court. The ball is lighter. It's like you don't have to like power swing on a serve. It's like a light serve. So it's more my pace now. I'm liking this pickleball thing, and I'm glad we found it here in Boracay, because I would have never played it, because I have to check Calibo if they even have a pickleball court in Calibo. I looked up Boracay. It's only 4 square miles in comparison. St. John, Virgin Islands, is 28. The island is spent. Yeah, I remember. I used to comment. I remember you spend a lot of time in the Virgin Islands. Yeah, Boracay. But you know what? Even if it says 4 square miles, Boracay just seems like it's big, man. Because I guess because there's not a lot of residents. I know when they did the closure a few years back, they did a closure here in Boracay. It used to be there was a lot of people living in Boracay, like local Boracaynons and local Malaynons, lived in Boracay Island. Like they would live in light material housing, they just like pile one up after another. And during the closure, it was called the Boracay Rehab. It was before the pandemic. It was like 6 months where they shut down Boracay for 6 months. And all they were doing was like rehabbing Boracay because it had gotten out of control. Like those housing where people were putting like makeshift dormitory, like made of wood material. They removed all that stuff. So what happened was it's not easy to live in Boracay, not like it used to be. With all those light material housing, it used to be like you can just find somewhere like nobody a land nobody's using, start putting up like a makeshift house. Kind of like in the like anywhere you go, like the squatter thing. Like squat at a place and build something, and you can live there. But they removed all that stuff in Boracay. It is difficult now if you want to do that here. The LGU, the local government, they watch that. They watch that. You have to own the land in Boracay where you can live in it or build anything on it, build any structure. You have to show proof that that is your land. And that's why now a lot of your workers now in Boracay actually live in the mainland, in Caticlan. That's why in Tabon, where Dazzle and I bought land, our neighbor land in Tabon, they're building apartments because for people that work in Boracay, so we actually even thought about that before, that Dazzle, well, an apartment might make sense building here because there's the demand for it because Boracay is growing, with all the development that they're building, all the communities, subdivisions they're building here in Boracay, the new hospital. People gotta live somewhere, and they can't. They're not allowing them to live in Boracay, and that it's more expensive to live in Boracay anyway. So that's why a lot of the workers they have to live in Caticlan and take that ferry every day, and that's part of the reason for the bridge because if they build the bridge, these people instead of ferrying, costing them money to ferry, if you're only making 500 pesos a day, that's a typical salary here in Boracay. And a ferry costs you 50 one way. That's like 1/5 of your salary already. And then if you got to ride the e-trike, that's another 20, 30 pesos just to get to your work. So it cuts on your pay. But if they build the bridge, they're going to allow the workers to walk to Boracay Island. And I know people, 2.3-kilometer bridge, people will walk that instead of paying a ferry fee. I know it's like I know people that work in Boracay, they will walk that easy because they're like, it's gonna save me 100 pesos every day. That's 100 pesos every day to the local worker here. The bucket brigade. I know, man. I've seen that. I've seen that on videos. I've seen it with my eyes. It's like when I lived there in Boracay. Because here in Boracay, when there's a fire, everybody kind of like goes to it, want to look at it. And it's like, see what's going on. And they did. They had bucket brigades, man. They had a line of people. Like passing the bucket. And then at the end, throw that bucket of water. And it was like, I've never seen anything like, I saw it in movies back in like that, those old movies in the US, but I've never seen it live, and they would do that. They would do that here. Anything to stop a fire because like a fire here in Boracay is dangerous because it can quickly spread and then add in a little wind, when it's windy like this, man, it can damage a lot of homes easily. Balikbayan HD. High five, my friend. All right, high five. Balikbayan HD. All right. Kip, come visit, brother, and I will buy you the best. So now, yeah, all right. All right. Kip, once I get my Social Security, that's one of the things. 3 more years, I'll be 62. I'll collect my Social Security. That will give Dazzle and I more money. And I do want to visit the U.S., with Dazzle. I wanted to show Dazzle America. And Tucson will be one of our stops, Skip. And we will come see you. If I take Dazzle to the U.S. for a vacation, we will definitely come see you, kid. And Sheila, of course. Mary Reyes, I wonder if you can find cilantro in Tagaytay due to the cold. It would not surprise me, Mary. Baguio City and Tagaytay. I and I have seen cilantro in the Philippines, but I would assume, I would probably say the reason is because of places like Tagaytay and Baguio. Because cilantro is not a food in the Filipino food anyway. If you sell it to a Filipino, they're gonna go, "What is this? What is this taste?" It's not. I can't think of a Filipino food that has cilantro in it. That's why, if you're a farmer, if if you have cilantro, or you put in a public market, nobody's gonna buy it anyway. It's mostly foreigners that come here that know cilantro that might be interested. So maybe people that can grow it, a herb garden in their own garden. But like you said, it only probably Baguio and Tagaytay with a cooler climate. Same thing with broccoli, so I love broccoli. And broccoli is expensive, especially here in Aklan province. They don't even grow like the broccoli I get usually is like a stem and then like a little, the little head on there. It's not like the big broccoli that we have. I mean, if you go to Baguio though, you get that big because of the climate. It's hard for a farmer to plant broccoli here in Aklan province and for it to grow big. But and that's one of our Dazzles is my favorite. But we have to pay. We have to pay good money. I even told Dazzle when I was in the U.S. Broccoli was like a big head. You don't even see the stump. The stump of the broccoli. Here they sell the stump, and here I cook it. I eat that stump because it's so expensive. In the U.S., I never saw that long stump or the broccoli. When you see broccoli here, it's like a little, it's almost like a mini tree, with the stump, and they sell the whole thing. And that stump is heavy, when they weigh it. I mean, I can get the broccoli, but it's like 300 pesos, 250 pesos, 300 pesos a kilo. It's not cheap, because it doesn't grow here. It doesn't grow here well in Aklan province. Peanut butter hey, peanut butter travels. Thank you. You're always you made it again. Thank you very much, my friend. Kip, you're making me hungry. Hey, I know, Kip. I'm sure you see our posts, on Facebook. Because I've always been a foodie. Kip. I think that's one of the things I enjoy when I lived in the United States. I love food, and I try all kinds of food, It's like, that's why even here, when I go to Boracay, it's like, this is like a foodie heaven here because you can get just about any food from all parts of the world here in Boracay. I mean, they even have a deli here, man. It's like, we don't have that in Calibo, man. They have a deli here where I can eat a good Reuben sandwich, a pastrami sandwich. It's like a different kind of cheese, like a good selection of cheese. We just don't have that in Calibo. Kip, I'm eating lunch now, so it's perfect. Okay, HD, all right. Balik ba? Ginno, thank you for your positive energy. You truly inspire me. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the kind words, my brother. Thank you. I am blessed to know you. Salamat. Walang anuman, kaibigan. Thank you. Thank you for always supporting our channel. I appreciate it. Dazzle, Leanna, we all appreciate it. Thank you, my friend. Boss, Pinoy ka ba? Yes, Pinoy ako, boss. Tagalog, I can speak Tagalog, but I speak English on our videos and on the live stream because majority of our subscribers are foreigners. I think 80% come from the United States and Canada. I don't have a lot of viewers here in the Philippines because of the content that I put out. The content I put out is like retiring here in the Philippines. So the audience is mostly Americans, Canadians that want to come to the Philippines and retire. I show them like the medical side of retirement here, the cost of living here, the cost of housing here, and that would not be a lot of interest for Filipinos because you're already here in the Philippines. The deal here in the Philippines. It's like I'm helping more people that want to come to the Philippines. Shush HD. I'm looking forward to dinner at this point. Ooh, steak HD. All right, man. I have HD. I have not eaten steak since 2016. I remember it specifically because my friend from Hawaii, he visited me here and he wanted to eat steak. So on Front Beach back then, that steakhouse is gone now. It was called Cowboy Cocina in Station 3. That was the last steak I ate. It was Australian beef is what I ate with my friend from Hawaii. But they do have steakhouses now here. When I went to Boracay, Nucos, they have that Wolfgang Steakhouse, fancy looking place, man, with the view of the ocean, man, view of ocean there at Nucos. So overlooking, you can dine in, dine out. They have big selection of wine. So I know that place ain't cheap. I know that's got to be an expensive place to eat. That's funny, Tanya. What's the Mexican food? No. You probably saw the pictures that I posted separate. The food spa place was at Lake Town. There's a place here right across Budget Mart, the D Mall area on the main road. There's like a little lake there, and right across the lake you'll see it says what was the name? Spa Wars, like WARS, Spa Wars. And man, that's like an amazing foot spa, man. I told Dazza we'll have to go back to that before we head back to Numancia. And then it's Mexican, Peruvian, Latin American food, because on the menu they have like, it's on White Beach, Boracay, right next door to the Army Navy fast food, Army Navy burger and burrito. So if you're looking for that restaurant, it's called Muchos. Yeah. Mucho Delicioso, man. That place is amazing, man. I love that place, man. That's gonna be a favorite of mine here now in Boracay. Their birria taco, man, that was on point. The tamales, I mean, I've had better tamales. Don't get me wrong; it's not the best tamales. My coworkers in San Antonio, Texas, during the holidays, they're homemade. They're really good tamales. But if you hadn't had tamales in 14 years and you have it, and you have that guacamole on it, hot sauce on it, they even have the Cholula hot sauce. I was like, look, Cholula, man. I haven't even seen this hot sauce in so long. It just hit the spot for me. I mean, I won't eat it all the time, but like, it's good to eat. Like, wow, you get that taste of that authentic Mexican food. Better push that dinner forward. Early. Hey, I'm always about early dinner, man. I always eat by 5:30 p.m. I'm an early dinner guy because usually I'm in bed by 8. So I don't want to eat like at 7. Dazzle, Leanna, and Mom, they eat around 7:30, 8. That's my bedtime already. So a lot of times I'm eating by myself like at 5:30 because, you want your food to digest a little bit. You don't want to eat and then go to bed, Actually, that's any early dinner. And then Kip goes, I'm trying, but everyone else is still working. Yeah. That might not be a good look, Kip, if everybody's still working. Since you're the boss, man, that might not be a good look. HD, just tell them that you are having a medical condition, hypoglycemia. That's a valid and accurate statement. Food is the treatment. Hypoglycemia. Teresita Tabulina, thumbs love. All right, thumbs love. All right. Good morning, Teresita. Good morning, my friend. Support for Gina Lakshman. All right, Teresita. Thank you. Oh, Goku. All right, Goku. Man. How do they dispose the waste in Boracay? That's the reason why they did the rehabilitation, because of the waste were disposed back to the ocean. Yeah, I mean, they were. I mean, back then, it's like that's why part of the reason. I mean, they're not like even back then, Goku. It wasn't like they were throwing trash in the ocean. Nobody gonna do that. But even then, what was happening before the rehab? There was an area here in Boracay near Mount Luho because I used to go up Mount Luho all the time. There was just like a mountain of garbage there. And what they would do, they called it like MRF, I think. It was kind of like a staging area. They just dumped all the trash there by Mount Luho. And, of course, the smell, it was horrible. And what they would do with that trash near Mount Luho, they would truck it. They would put all the trash in the truck and they would barge it to mainland Aklan in Malay. There's a landfill in mainland Aklan. But if you can imagine the cost though, because like trucks, these are like big dump trucks that they have to fill with trash, barge that truck across across the water from Boracay Island to the mainland. It's just cost. The cost for the municipality of Malay, it was very expensive for them to do that. That's why the bridge is so important, because that would be a way for them to transport the trash out of Boracay. They have part of the rehab. Before the rehab, even when I lived here, they weren't good at like they had like recyclables. They had but people weren't paying attention. Like I remember in 2011, 2012, I would be running at Front Beach, and there'll be piles of garbage in Front Beach, like in plastic bags, big plastic bags, and the trash was like plastic, paper, don't matter. It was just all combined. But now, not only here in Boracay Island, even in mainland, very strict here now about segregating your trash. There's only like at our house at Camellia, and even here, there's only certain day they pick up bottles, they pick up plastic, they pick up paper, and food waste. You have to separate food waste. So very strict with that. If you don't follow, they won't pick up your trash, and then you'll be like, what am I doing with my trash? So and that's part of that thing here in Boracay. I've noticed it's like more attention to segregating their trash. And of course at White Beach, they have this, they have containers, but depending on the amount of tourists, Filipinos are always going to be Filipinos. You're still going to have some trash on White Beach, but LGU, I mean, every morning they're cleaning the beach. There's an army of people, like even during algae season, when we have algae bloom on Front Beach, the algae washes up on White Beach. They got an army of LGU workers there bagging the algae and putting them in sacks, because algae, people think, the rock is dirty, Boracay is dirty, so they make us big effort to keep Boracay clean now, and even like that mountain of trash in Mount Luho, that doesn't exist yet, took them a long time to get rid of that, and then that's not going to happen again because of the rehab. The rehab, what it did, that 6 months of closure here in Boracay Island, it taught the people here in Boracay, the actual locals that live here, it actually taught them to like think like, we got to protect the island, because we can't just trash it. We can't just like abuse the island, because that's what's bringing money here. And then, like I said, when they removed all the light material, the the people living next to another. I mean, if you can imagine, it's kind of like the areas in Manila that you see on videos, like a squatter area. It's like they used to have those in Boracay, and then a lot of those places don't have like bathrooms. So so you can imagine what that was doing to like the environment here. But all that stuff is removed now. You have to have like, in order for you to build a structure in Boracay, you have to own the land. You have to show proof that that belongs to your grandmother or father or anything. You can't just build a structure here now without proof that you own it. Goku, garbage barge to bring to the mainland. Yep, HD, there you go, garbage barge. Michael, happy coffee morning to you, brother. Northern Cal, we got a lot of viewers from Northern California. I got, my good friend Ray's there, Vincent's from there. A lot of people from Northern California. Good morning, good morning. HD, we have a great audience today. Didn't have to drop the hammer. Didn't try, like, good job. Good. Thank you, HD. Yeah, I noticed, HD, you haven't been dropping the hammer on people, removing, deleting their comment. Kip, hey, there's the next great venture. Set up a couple of pickleball courts and hey, actually, that have crossed my mind. I mean, I could imagine, I think pickleballs. I mean, I've played it now a few times now. I mean, it can pick up here in the Philippines because the equipment's so minimum. You got the paddle, you got the ball. Really, the court would be the biggest thing. Finding a court. But man, you can pretty much build a court even like on clay, even on dirt. You don't have to have a cement, because if you can play it on the court like that, I'm sure you can play it on clay too. Because here in Diniwid, I filmed it yesterday. They have a basketball court here in Diniwid, full court. I mean, a nice court too, metal frame, good backboard, net. I mean, really nice. And the whole full court is on dirt. It's on like soil, like brown soil, no cement, no nothing. I mean, it's like the coolest thing. Even the lines, somehow they put the lines. They were able to make lines. I have to get close up of it. And there was people playing. I'm gonna have to video film. Yesterday, the people that were playing were kids, and I don't like filming kids because YouTube, is weird sometimes when it's kids playing, even basketball. I just don't film kids because YouTube is funny with that. So when I see adults playing on that basketball court, I will film a game. And they're playing in flip-flops. They're playing in flip-flops and they're playing like barefoot. They're playing barefoot on the soil, So it was kind of cool, It's like, man, I'm sure you guys would love to see that because it's not something you would see in the U.S. Even in the Philippines, in Calibo, I don't see many dirt floor full court basketball, and people are running, dribbling, running. It's like I was like, man, this is so cool. Lucita, all right. Lucita Alves, good morning. Hope you and we are doing well. Even Chloe's having a great time. Oh, looks like today it's still cloudy, but after this live stream, I'll walk Chloe to the beach. PC, being the guy who doesn't live there, the bridge seems like a bad idea. I understand the reason behind it, but that would kill part of the vibe of the island. I think like I said, you have. For me, I think the island will always be nice, just because once you're in Front Beach, Kip, once you're like on the private beaches or in here in Diniwid, like me, I've been, coming here now for over 20 years. So it's the first time I got here, and then 14 years ago I lived here. When I'm on Diniwid Beach, if I'm looking at Diniwid Beach, I'm looking at the ocean, and I can see mainland Aklan. It's the same view that I've been looking at 14 years ago, and nothing really changes. When I turn around, I still see sari stores. I still see like the local bars. Most of the development in Boracay is on White Beach. White Beach Boracay, to me, if you can picture it, it's like Waikiki. It's a mini version of Waikiki in Honolulu. It's becoming like tall buildings, hotels, 5-star hotels, restaurants, and all that. My friend though, Lawrence, he had mentioned me, the difference in Waikiki, they don't allow you to like have those businesses right on the beach. You have to be, he said there's the beach, there's the road, and then the buildings. Here, the buildings and everything, they're right on the beach. The minute you step off your hotel, you're on sand, but most of that development is focused on White Beach. The rest of the island, if you go to Barangay Yapak, you go to Barangay Tambisaan, that area, Manok-Manok, Barangay Manok-Manok, here in Balabag, Barangay Balabag, it's still like, what I call old school Boracay. It's still like Carinderia, it's still sari-sari store. So really, I would say there's just sections that are like progressing, that are they're building all those because of the tourists. That's most tourists when they come to Boracay, they don't want to experience like the local experience that I experienced. They don't want to eat at karinderia. They don't want to shop at sari sari store. They want to shop at the mall. They want to shop at a modern grocery. They want a steak place. That's what tourists come for Boracay. That's why they have to accommodate the tourists. But you'll always have, I don't think even 20 years from now when I'm gone, it's like you will always have a Boracay, the true Boracay back in the day. I mean, there's still private beaches here. There's beaches that nobody owns. You can like venture out if you do some hiking that not developed. Even though it's a small island, there's certain areas that still aren't developed in Boracay Island. I agree, Kip. All right, HD. Hey, I know, man. It's like I said. I understand. The bridge. That might ruin the vibe, but hey, yeah, but it's happening. That's the thing. It's like people even here. They won't accept that it's happening. It's gonna happen because the minute San Miguel Corporation gets involved, it's gonna happen. San Miguel Corporation. It's like conglomerate here, billionaire money, it's like once they get involved, it's like you're fighting a losing battle. These people, it's all about money, it's all about money. The bridge is going to bring in a lot of money for San Miguel because they're going to charge people. It's going to be like a toll bridge. And then to bring in all the construction material here in Boracay, it's going to, I'm sure the San Miguel will charge for that too. I'm sure you can't just bring, all the supplies and all that stuff without a charge. Don't forget to visit Las Vegas. All right, then. I do have friends. I do have a relative. I have a cousin, my Kuya Beng. I want to see him. He lives in Las Vegas. And if I do, more likely we'll visit Tucson because I live there. I have friends there. Vegas, since it's a drive, it's an easy drive to Arizona. Phoenix, I have good friends in Phoenix, Arizona. And then more likely California, and then Houston, Texas. That's why, because I have relatives in Houston, Texas, and I have relatives in California. But even that, man, that'll be hard to accomplish in like 30 days. Dazzle and I will be busy if we do that when we visit the U.S. Does Dazzle visit U.S.? No, Dazzle has not visited the USA yet. We plan on doing that 3 years from now when we have more money. Because it's not cheap in the U.S. I mean, even if the plane ticket from the Philippines to the U.S., I mean, I'm looking at least $2,000 a piece. And then expenses to travel. It's not cheap. It's not cheap to go to the U.S. And from what I'm seeing at prices like to eat and all that, it's not even Boracay prices. It's like even my friend that's here in Boracay, he's like loving Boracay because he said, man, I can't eat like this in the U.S. Restaurants, fancy places, drinks at a bar. It's like it's just expensive to go to the U.S. We'll find you some of the best current places to eat, brother. All right, kid. Hey, man, I know like there used to be places I used to eat like in the downtown area too. So I'm not sure you'll find me. And then the good stuff, like the authentic, like only been around in Tucson, some of the fried chicken places even. I remember even like the chicken and waffles, it's like those kind of things, I don't get that here. I'm going to mostly focus on that stuff that I can't eat here when I visit you in Tucson. Yeah, I won't. I would never go to the U.S. without Dazzle. I would never do that to her. If I go visit the U.S., she's coming. She's coming with me. I love your food post. Makes me want to heal faster so I can visit. Yes, please heal, brother. We're praying for you, Kip. I hope everything, it's like you're always in our thoughts and prayers. We can't wait for you to like get healthy and then come to the Philippines. Good old monkey meat. Monkey meat. I think that's just a rumor, Kip. I have heard that. It's like because I was stationed during that time. I was in the 80s. I was stationed at Clark, and we hear about stuff at Subic that you Navy guys are eating monkey meat, man. But I don't think. I bet you it was pork. I bet you it's just like a rumor that the GI started there. But I did see monkeys. That one road that's at Subic where you have to go through the tunnel. They build a tunnel going to Subic. That one road there, I've seen monkeys there that would like they'll be walking with their little babies too. They're dragging their babies on the road, crossing the street. That's like the coolest thing. I have seen that. I have seen the monkeys by Subic. Yeah, I know. Everybody always, I think you Navy guys started that rumor about the monkey meat. And it reminds here in Diniwid, Kip, where we live. I'll film it. At the evening time here in Diniwid. It's a typical scene in any local Filipino barrio barangay. Like in the evening time here, the sari-sari store, all the sari-sari store here. I noticed in Diniwid, they pull out their barbecue stand and they're grilling like chicken, pork, isaw, the chicken intestine, and then they got guys on benches drinking Red Horse. That's like, I look at that scene every night, every time Dazzle and I come home. We're walking. That's like the scene. That's like, I wish it was more lighted. I'll try to film it because Diniwid is like it's kind of dark. Even a commenter that I haven't responded, it says it's kind of dark in there. Yeah, it is kind of dark. It's not well lit. But. There's always people. There's always sorry store, and I know I know how to be safe. I know how to be careful. No, she's still trying to overcome. Yeah, that I think we're gonna try to overcome that fear before the end of the year. HD, we're gonna try to make a go fly to BGC because a friend of ours in BGC has been inviting us to stay at his place in BGC. So that should be a short, like from Katiklan to Manila, short 45-minute to an hour flight. So that will be the first test. That way maybe next year we can fly somewhere in Southeast Asia. She has flown to Singapore before, from Kalibo to Singapore, but that was not a good experience for Dazzle. She was like so scared on the plane, and I don't want to put her through that, but we'll try the 1 hour flight and go from there. It was mostly pork, but it was fun to ask the new sailors on where all the dogs are. Yeah. I know you guys, man. I know you guys at Subic, you Navy guys started that rumor. Oh, you're eating monkey meat. I know it had to be the Navy guys because at Clark, when I was stationed at Clark during that time, I didn't see any monkeys at Clark. Inside the base, we had a horse stable. I saw horses, but all my time at Clark, I don't remember seeing monkeys. The only time I saw a lot of monkeys here when I was stationed at Clark back in the 80s was at Subic. That one road going into Subic, had a lot of monkeys. Does she have a visa? No, Dazzle doesn't have a visa. We have not applied for a visa for her to the United, because we live in the Philippines. There's no reason for us to like right now, since I'm retired here in the Philippines. It's not as easy as people think. Like that, if I apply for a visa to the United States for us to move there, because one of the things when you file for an immigration visa here, I have to show proof at the U.S. Embassy here that I can support her, that I have enough income to move us, the two of us, to the United States, that she's not going to be a burden to the United States if we go there. A lot of times I've even seen the form. We more likely, because I don't make enough money. It's like my only income is my military pension. That's my only income. My pension from the United States Air Force. I would have to get a sponsor in the United States that would if I can't support her, the person agrees to support us. It's an agreement for 10 years. that so it's not as easy as a process that people think. That's why a lot of people that live here in the Philippines that meet a Filipina, it's not just because they don't want to bring their Filipina to the US. It's not just that. It's expensive to move somebody. If you marry, you have to have money. Even the application process, the process to go to the embassy, the medical, the fee to apply, the fee for the visa, the air ticket to go to the US. And then when we land in the US, we won't have a job yet. I have not worked in 14 years. I'm 59 years old. I'm a cancer. So what do you think job I can find at this point in my life if I land in the US? It's not an easy move. Like I said, I would visit, once I hit 62 to move to the United States. But everybody always says that. It's like, why don't you bring her to the US? And even for Dazzle, it's like, to start out in the United States, it's not as easy. I mean, the kind of job, it would be one thing if she was a doctor or she was a nurse that she can find a job that quick. But I mean, jobs in the U.S. are competitive. I mean, it's not an easy process. Like even just to find a housing in the U.S., we would have to get a car in the U.S. Yeah. Look at our life here in the Philippines. It's like we can take a month off here in Boracay and just enjoy. It's like, it to me doesn't. When people tell us that, why don't you move to the U.S.? To me, it doesn't make sense. That's why I moved here 14 years ago on my military pension alone. I want an easier life. I want like a not stressful life. You get into that grind in the U.S. where you got to start paying bills. You get to the U.S. Even if you're renting, you got a car payment, you got insurance on the car is like high. Everything's high. It's like there's no way, like on my military pension right now, there's no way if I go to the U.S. right now that I don't have to work. And to me, it's always been for me. It's like working. I know some people enjoy working. They don't feel like it's stress. But for me, working equals stress. Because my whole life, when I was in the military for 20 years, when I worked at St. Mary's in Arizona, work to me was stress. It's like, it was not fun. It's like, I don't know what some people do for work, but I know my military comrades out there, 20 years in the military, man, you got some battle scars. Military was a hard place to work, man. Hey, brother, Ron Navy. All right, Ron. Long time no see on the live stream. Thank you, brother. Hope everything's going well, Ron. Hope going well with your partner in Rojas City and the business. The business in Rojas City. I know your partner and the family's excited about the business endeavor in Rojas. Your soon-to-be mother-in-law. Hopefully, all her medical issues. So hopefully that's being taken care of. Gambles, I don't know. We'll have to wait for Ginno to answer that. All right, HD. I hope I answered it. I hope I answered that I know it's a long wait since Karen from James and Gary is waiting for hers. Long process, very long process, man. And like I said, it's not cheap. If you look at all the application for, I think it's a I-130 application, the application for the physical, it's weird how I see in the United States, a few years ago, there were all the illegals came to the United States. It's hard to go to the U.S. legally, man. It's like it's not an easy process. All the documents that you got to show here in the Philippines, like a PSA, what's that? Senomar, your original copies of your marriage license, birth certificate, police clearance, NBI clearance. It's a long process just to apply. You don't even know if you're gonna pass it once you get on the interview. And then, like I said, it's like if Dazzle and I go to the U.S. now, we would have to start from scratch. I do not have any property in the U.S. I don't have a car in the U.S. I have no connections to the U.S. anymore. We would have to stay with my family member to get settled, and I don't really want to burden anybody on my relatives. And I know some of my friends have offered that to me to go to U.S. But to me,
that's a good offer, and I have friends like that, but I don't want to inconvenience anybody, you know what I'm saying? And what happens if I go there and my cancer comes back? You know, what happens with that? At least here, I already got a hospital here. I got a support system here with Dazzle's family. I've been to the cancer treatments already. I know I survived that. If I go to the US and I get sick, my cancer comes back. What's going to happen to Dazzle and I? She's the only one that could, you know, I mean, it's just, to me, it doesn't make sense. You know, it's like, I know people always think going to the United States would be better for Dazzle, but I'm preparing for that. You know, I have life insurance. We're putting away money. I bought her land. We're gonna build a house on that land, maybe even an apartment on that land. So I'm securing Dazzle's future here in the Philippines. She'll be more happy here anyway because she doesn't have relatives in the United States. You know, it's like you have to understand the dynamic of a Filipina, a province Filipina here in the Philippines. You know, her family, her mom, Liana, the relatives, they are so important to them. You know, it's like it would be a lonely life for Dazzle if she goes to the United States, even if she has a nice career, be successful in the United States, and when I'm gone, and her whole family is here in the Philippines. Me, I see the joy with Dazzle, Leanne, and Mom. I see the bonding they always have. You can't replicate that, and you don't want to miss out on that. You know, it's like I know people always have that pursuit of money, pursuit of success, but a lot of times when you do that, you miss out on like the bonding with family. You know, next thing you know, you're in your 50s and you don't have a close connection with your family. You know, that's just me. That's just my opinion. You know. Said hi, Michael Olaski. All right, all right. On the visa issue, there are a lot of brokers that work for the government that will help get it processed. It still isn't quick, but they make sure you have all the yes, Skip. You know, they even have that here in the Philippines. If you can find a legit one here in the Philippines, because there are also. But again, that comes with a price, Skip. Even here in the Philippines, the people that will help if you that's why a lot of people do it on their own because they charge you money. You know, it's like again, you know, if you have a lot of money, that's fine. But you know, a lot of us like me, you know, I'm on a budget. You know, I'm on my military pension alone. You know, so it's like you know, it's not cheap, not cheap. The interview is supposed to be the worst part. Yeah. Just imagine going through that, Kip. Spending all the money in the application, getting all the documents, paying an agent a fee and all that, and you go to the interview and you get denied. You know, what kind of feeling is that? You know, that'd be like, you know, I would not, to me, it's, it's just not worth it. You know, we have a good life here. You know, it's like, I know not everybody agrees with our life here in the Philippines, but we have a good life. You know, I'm going to be able to provide Dazzle with a good future here. Good info about Medicare the other day. I get full VA coverage here, but heard I can't get it there. Yes, limited, even for the VA. The VA in Manila only treats VA disability. If you got VA disability, service-connected disabilities, all the very limited. We don't have big VA hospitals here. The VA clinic in Manila is like a small clinic with like maybe 2 doctors. You know, it's not big at all. Most veterans that are here on VA disability complain about the VA Manila. I didn't retire and not disabled. Hope someone will get it done if you're covered. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like that Medicare, you know, that would help so many Americans here in the Philippines. Right now, they estimate about 35,000 Americans here in the Philippines collecting Medicare, Social Security and our Medicare eligible, and they're paying out of pocket here in the Philippines, you know. It's something that, to me, it's like, man, they paid all their life. They're collecting Social Security. They can't use their Medicare here, But that's what the push is. That's why that's the push to get that approved. I agree. And the economics even makes sense. It's the cheaper medical care here for and they already had like I mentioned on the video, there's already a system here, a U.S. government system here in place with us on TRICARE medical insurance. There's already TRICARE doctors here, hospitals that are approved. So it's not. They don't even have a TRICARE office here in the Philippines. Not a single office, not a phone number I can call, but they're able to manage the TRICARE. So it's not like people are on the comments that I've gotten. Oh, they got to set up like a Medicare office in the Philippines. That's not gonna work. It's gonna be crooked. But TRICARE works here. There's no TRICARE office in the Philippines. I have to call Singapore and get a person in Singapore to get authorization for things. So I file my TRICARE claims online for for my medications. I file it and I get paid back. So it's not to me, I don't believe on not doable. I think it's doable. It's just a matter of taking care of Americans here in the Philippines. If they're looking at the toll bridge, then at least 95 should go to the local economy. It's a bad take to support conglomerate companies because the locals suffer. Look at South Korea, Samsung owns it. Yeah, it's like, I get your point. I get your point. But I'm sure, because San Miguel also built the airport, Boracay Airport. They're actually going to build a new terminal, expanding. Because before Boracay Airport in Caticlan, you couldn't land a jet there. It used to be tiny propeller planes that used to land. Not many flights to Caticlan, but now they're landing jets. They're landing international flights from Taiwan in Caticlan, Boracay Airport, and they're going to build a new terminal. Make it more up to date, and it would not surprise me if they expand the runway and all that. So I know the San Miguel, I know they put in money into Malay. I know they it's not like we're just gonna abuse make money off people here. I know they do more. It's like they do more for Malay and then for Aklan province. Monkey on a stick. We call it monkey on a stick. LOL. See, you Navy guys, man. You Navy guys and Subic, man. I heard you guys though, because when I was at Clark, Navy guys would go to Clark and we would hang out with. We actually had Navy people at Clark Hospital working with us side by side. Oh yeah, I do remember that. That the monkeys would throw stuff at the buses. Like if you're on a bus or you get stopped there, the monkeys would throw stuff. I remember that. Trash and poo. Oh man. See, that image, Kip and Ron, that's something you don't forget, right? Like me, like that image of the monkey with the little baby monkey crossing the street while you stop your car and they're crossing. That image is forever. I will never forget that image, because how many times do you see that you have to stop your car because a monkey's crossing the street with a baby monkey? You just don't see that. It's that's why it's ingrained in my mind, that image. Ria, hey Ria. Good morning, Ria. It's never easy to apply for a visa to the U.S. Thank you, Ria. I'm glad I'm not alone. I'm not alone on this topic, that people think it's easy to come to the United States on a visa, man. Even a tourist visa. They think why don't you get a tourist visa? You could be in the U.S. in a couple of months. A tourist visa is the hardest thing to get from the U.S. embassy here. It's not if you're in the Philippines, you want to go to the U.S., it's not an easy process. It's costly, and then it's not guaranteed. You might end up spending a lot of money. I have known many people trying to go, want to take their wife just on a tourist visa to go to the United States and get denied after spending so much money, and just the disappointment of all that. So even when Dazzleland, when I turned 62, I have the money. I have a house here. I have stuff that I can show proof that we're going to come back to the Philippines. I just want to take my wife a tour of the United States. It's not guaranteed. I have seen many Americans with Filipina spouses just want to tour the United States and they deny the Filipina. That's why it's not an easy process. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Ria. I was trying to get my son to visit, but it was a pain. No, right? And that's your son. That's your son, you know. So I didn't even bother anymore. Immigration law in the U.S. needs to be fixed. Thank you, Ria. I'm glad you meant. Like my friend even told me, man, it's easier to be an illegal in the United States than to legally enter the United States. Coming from the Philippines, if I flew to Mexico, I probably can just walk across the border and I'm good to go. It's like easier to be an illegal than to be to visit, even to visit the U.S. on a tourist visa. Man. Yes, it's a long process. I just didn't know if she has a visa. Thanks, Gino, for clarification. My wife did the same process of fiancé visa, and it took us 3 years because of pandemic instead of 6 months. Yeah, my friend Ron Navy is going through that now. He's trying to get his fiancé over to U.S. And he's been waiting. He's been waiting. I know it's not the 6 months. I know he's been waiting longer than 6 months. And I know he's struggling with that because it's not an easy process. Ria, first fix it to secure the borders. We have legal immigrants trying to defend their businesses from illegals who are looting and burning in LA right now. We have Marines and wow, man, I didn't hear that story. Actually, I'm gonna have to look it up now, man. Wow. Yeah, I know LA's a mess. I know, Los Angeles. I know it's pretty crazy in Los Angeles, man. Thank you, Gino Balikbayan. Talk to you again. Thank you so much. God bless, my friend. Thank you again for joining. Maraming salamat, kaibigan. Tanya, you and Dazzle's life is great and affordable in a clan. Why ruin it by moving back to the Philippines this day? Thank you, Ria. I'm glad because like very few make comments like that. Oh, everybody's like, oh, he don't want to bring Dazzle to the Philippines. He's afraid to bring Dazzle. Dazzle gonna meet another American. I'm like, it's not that. I'm glad you mentioned that because that's the way I look at it. That's the way Tanya. That's the way I look at it, Tanya. It's why ruin what we got? We got a good thing. It's like we're having fun. We have the freedom. We don't have the stress. It's like we have family here that loves us, that like watches over us here. If we go to the U.S. now, we won't have. I have some family, but you know how it is. Family in the U.S., they have their own lives. Here in the Philippines, our family here, mom, sister, they're all like. Dazzle and I can vacation for 30 days and leave Liana, our dog Toto, with them. And they're like more than happy to watch them. It's like not an inconvenience, not a burden to them. In the US, there's no way we can do stuff like this. There's no way we can vacation for 30 days. It's like, and leave all our responsibility to other people. Take care, Balikbayan guy. All right, take care. Thanks, HD. All right. Salute. Now, Dazzle always have good friends here, but let's not write you off. Just, yeah, all right, no, right. No. All right. Thanks, Skip. Don't write me off, Kip. Don't write me off. I 100 agree that you two have a great life there, and anyone who says otherwise doesn't know what they are talking about. Thank you. Thank you, Kip. Samsung did the same thing, Sakura. They built a lot of city, but they ended up being above the law. Something. Okay, yeah, I understand, man. And San Miguel Corporation. Their family. That's like a big corporation here. I mean, they're very powerful, very influential with all politicians here in the Philippines. I understand. They got a lot of power. San Miguel Corporation's got a lot of power. Put petition in January. Average waiting process is 8 months right now for a K1 visa. All right, that's all. You're at the 6 month point. 6 month point. Ouch. Also missed you. All right, Daniel. I'm glad you made the live stream, Daniel. My good friend in Jacksonville, Florida. Ron Navy, don't believe with the processing time. That's a lie. That's a lie. You know, it's like, hang in there, Ron. Hang in there. You'll get your fiance in America. Don't worry, man. At least the process is rolling, Ron. At least you guys, just hang in there. You got something to look forward to. It's like I made it finally. All right, JP made it. And there's always the replay. It's been a good conversation. I mean, this probably like HD was saying, this is probably one of the better live streams because HD hasn't had to be deleting comments. There's good people today. HD didn't have to drop the hammer today. Good morning, Ginno. Good morning, Mark. Big East support group. Mark, my good friend Mark. Good morning. Good morning. Ron. It's estimate time for 80% of the cases. It was 9.5 months when stated. LOL. Hang in there, Ron. Hang in there. At least you got the paperwork filed. It's just a matter of time till you get your fiance in the U.S. Man, that's the main thing. Something to look forward to. That's what I always tell people. Like Daniel, he's counting down like 9 months. And Olson, my friend Olson, is counting down like about a year. The good thing is you got that countdown going, and it's gonna get there. It'll be there before you know it. I know for you, Daniel. It's like you're getting all your ducks in line, making sure everything before you leave the United States. It'll happen, brother. It'll happen. Just be patient. Just be patient. At least you got something to look forward to. 27, all right, Big East, HD, Jumpy, all right. I served and bled for America. I can 1,000% honestly say that the U.S. has very little to offer anymore. That's unfortunate, Daniel, you feel that way. I still believe in America. I'm always going to be a patriot, I think it's just a bump on the road. I think, America can still get back to what it used to be, man. I still know many people that have good lives in America. And I wouldn't have the life I have now had that not been able to go to the United States, serve in the military. I'll always be thankful for my time in the military. It gave me a military pension here in the Philippines. I've been collecting a pension now for 21 years. Since I was 37 years old, I've been collecting a military pension every month. And I'm so grateful because I know, not many people have that. And, it's allowed me to live a good life. It's like a life that, that I enjoy every day. That's why you see me, man. When I wake up in the morning, I start the live stream. I'm like fired up to start my day, and it's a good feeling. I'm not one of those guys like wake up and like, oh, what am I gonna do today? I'm eager. I'm excited. Like after this live stream, I'm gonna walk Chloe on the beach. Looks like it's not raining outside, and then just walk around the beach. Then when Dazzle gets up later, we'll do something. Maybe play pickleball again today. I like that. That's the lifestyle we have here. That we don't have any schedule. It's like we don't have to look at the calendar. We don't have to look at like what day of the week this is. It's like that's the life that I want, and I'm just so grateful that I have that life here. Hola, Will. Hola, muchacho. Kip. I expect to see Leanna working at the VA here in about 8 years to build her nest egg. I know she would return, but life abroad would be... Yes. And Leanna, that's her thing anyway, Kip. That's why we're pushing her to become a nurse. She knows that she'll work overseas because the money here in the Philippines, unfortunately, even for a nurse here, nurses in the Philippines make maybe 20 to start as a nurse here, 25,000 to 25 to 30,000 pesos, like $500 to a month as a nurse here. So you ain't gonna be saving money with that, but I know once she becomes a nurse, get her all her certifications, she can make a lot of money in America, Canada, overseas. She can make a lot of money. Build her nest egg so she can have a good life for herself and help the family. Because that's the thing here in the Philippines, man. That bond with family, like Leanna, at a young age, she's 12, she is seeing how her nephews, her young nephews, she's seeing how the life for her nephews are hard. So she's always thinking in her head, she wants to help her nephews, because she loves her little nephews, Dudoy and Gab, they're 5 and 6. That's her like playmates, it's like, she already knows in the back of her head that when I become successful, I will help them, like get ahead, because it's hard to get ahead in the Philippines if nobody's helping you. It's unfortunate, but that's the life here in the Philippines. It's like when I look at my, Dazzle's, when the nephews here, chances are they'll go through, high school. I'm gonna put them up in college. I'll pay for their college so they can at least have a chance, at college. But it doesn't look good, as far as like if you're born here in the province in the Philippines, you're raised here, it's just like hard to get ahead because we see it with the adults, you see it with the adults that's living, even here in Diniwid, you can see with the adults. That's why there's a lot of drinking involved, because it's a hard life. Philippines, it's a hard life. Not many opportunities here to succeed. Ron Navy, make sure you know what to do when the process says ready, so you don't wait even longer. All right, good tip there, Vegas. I'm glad you're advising Ron Navy here, because he said this is his first time. So how come it's not Ginno and Dazzle? It's not Ginno and Dazzle TV because when we started the channel, we were trying to think of a name, and we called it Dazzle because it's Dazzle, her name. I thought it was kind of cool, it's like Dazzle TV. It feels like it's dazzling, a dazzling TV, and we just never changed it. We just never changed the channel from that name. And we never thought our channel would amount to anything. We were just coming up with a name. We didn't think like people were actually gonna watch the channel and support us. It's like I thought we were just filming like our experiences, So, and even now, it's not like we're pushing the channel. We're telling people to like, subscribe. We're not doing that. We're happy with how our channel's going. It's like it's already enough for us. There's I have enough people I'm able to help with our channel. So it's not like we're doing everything to like expand the channel. It's just Dazzle and I, editing videos. Dazzle does all the thumbnails, it's like, so it's already added work for us, but we don't mind it because we're meeting good people. Extra income for us in the Philippines, it's not much of an income, but it's nice. It's nice to have that here. We're able to do vacations like this because of YouTube, because we've gotten extra money from YouTube. It took us 1 month when it said ready until she got to the USA because we're ready to do the next steps. All right. Hey, Joe. All right. Vegas. Still working on the banking issues and selling off all my stuff. Little by little. All right, Daniel. It's like you got 9 months, brother. 9 months gonna creep up on you, Daniel. Before you know it, 9 months. It'll be like 1 month, and you gotta get on the plane to the Philippines and my stuff. Yeah. And I know, I understand that's not the easiest process for people to get rid of their stuff. Because for me, when I made the move in 2011 to move to the Philippines, I was 20 years in the military, man. I had a lot of stuff. I had the shadow box that they gave me for my retirement, plaques, awards, even medals. We get like meritorious service medal, achievement medal. I had so much military memorabilia from my 20 years in the military, but I knew I wasn't gonna bring that. I wasn't gonna carry that around here in the Philippines. It's like my goal was to leave the United States with my backpack and my one suitcase. That was my goal. And a lot of that stuff I gave to like people that I care for in the United States, family and friends. So it's in good hands. And all that stuff is in good hands. But it's it's not the easiest. It's like memories that But I wanted to make new memories, and I have my 14 years here in the Philippines. I have plenty of memories to last me a lifetime. It's like it's been a great life here in the Philippines the last 14 years. why work in the USA? Why not just start a business and be very happy? You know, all right. Now opening a business, I don't recommend that here in the Philippines, man. I tried, we tried the resto bar a couple of years ago. Opening a business in the Philippines is stressful, That I'll leave it at that. It's like I do not recommend anybody coming to the Philippines wanting to open a business in the Philippines. GP, an English-speaking country might give nurse Leanna more options of which country she can work. Yes. We're all, because we got time, JP. I'm working on Leanna's English. That's a constant thing that I work with Leanna. I speak to Leanna more now in English than Tagalog. It's like when we study together, extra lessons on English lessons because she does struggle. I mean, Leanna struggled. The thing she struggled the most was spelling. She was weak at spelling, but improving now. And her vocabulary, that's what I'm improving. There's a lot of when I make Leanna read books and even watching videos, she'll ask me often, "What does that mean, Kuya?" I don't know what what that word means. And she's 12, so we got time. We got at least 6 years to really work on her English. By the time Leanna becomes 18 and starts college, her English is gonna be on point. Yeah, she might be doing this live streams, man. By the time she's 18, man. By the time she's allowed to do it, I mean, I want her. I want her to build that confidence, and I want her to be a confident young lady. Ria, it took me 7 years to become a U.S. citizen. Considering that I'm already married to an American, 5 interviews. Oh my goodness, my goodness. American history studies plus 10K after. So yeah, not easy. I'm glad. Thank you, Ria. Thank you for sharing that, because people don't know that. People think that coming to America, getting United States citizenship, they think that's like an easy process. It is not an easy process. I mean, even coming to America is not even an easy process. And even if you're in America, becoming a U.S. citizen is not easy in America. I use Filipino visa company out of Manila. They do all the paperwork and set up medical. U.S. Embassy also once over here, they do change the status. Yep. But I'm sure, Ron, maybe it come with a cost. It's not cheap. Not cheap for any of those services. All right. JP, Ron. So do check the status or let them handle all of it. Yeah. Ron, he can afford. He can afford spending the money. Every day, Ron says he checks on it every day. I can't blame you, man. I know that feeling, man. I know that feeling that you're feeling, Ron. That's okay. I know you pay other people, but don't just rely on them 100%. LOL, yeah. You'll get there, Ron. Just, I know that's tough, brother, but you'll get there. You'll get your fiance in the U.S. 5 years. All right, you're planning to, okay. And we are planning to start a business for our kids. LOL. Man, it's just, hard to start a business here in the Philippines because the competition, and if you find something that works, they'll copy it instantly. It's like, hey, they can copy your name. They can, there's no copyright here. There's no trademark. It's like, with the permits here, the business permits, the amount of people that you got to pay for permits, renewable permits every year, more fees. I mean, hard to make it here business-wise in the Philippines. Right. It was about $4,000, $4,000, man. That's 230,000 pesos, man. $4,000, Ron, for us on a budget, man. That's a lot of money, brother. Leanna could be another Filipina P. All right. You never know, man. she's gaining the confidence, definitely. Leanna's gaining the confidence. I know she's getting very confident in her English. We're always working on her English. That's the biggest thing. I wanted her to be a well-spoken in English and confident and be able to communicate in English. There are many YouTube educational videos on biobiology, cellular biology, oh yeah, I mean, Leanna's got an iPad. A subscriber had given Leanna an iPad, so it's like we're always, we're like in National Geographic, History Channel, educational videos. So she's on it. She's on it. That's why she's become an honor student. That's why she's a sponge, man. She loves to learn new things. So that's not a problem. Not a problem, JP. Vegas. All right, HD. Tell Leanna to go reinforce that language, the way of thinking, speaking. I force myself speaking Tagalog or Klanan whenever I'm around people that spoke it in. Oh yeah, all right, all right. Like me when I was in the U.S., I spoke Tagalog. The minute I know somebody's Tagalog, even on our channel, the minute somebody reach out and I'll ask them, it's like, you speak Tagalog? And then our conversations in Tagalog. I forgot to ask how the tamales were. Oh, JP, it's not the best tamales that I've eaten. Like I said, I've eaten better tamales in San Antonio, homemade tamales that my coworkers used to bring to work. But I had not had a tamales in 14 years. And this is authentic. This is the texture, the flavor. They even had the Cholula hot sauce. They had like it's got a creamy guacamole. It's not a guacamole I'm used to like thicker, dense guac. This one was like, but it had a kick to it. It had like a little spice on that homemade guacamole that they made. But man, it was delicious. It was like perfect for me, man. I was like so happy, It's funny how I got so excited about a tamale, man. But it was legit. If you come here, I'm sure, since you're coming from the U.S., you've had tamales, you're gonna go, this is just okay. But man, when you haven't had a tamale in 14 years, just the taste, the texture, you're like, man, this is so good, Whatever happened to your bar? We closed the bar. It only lasted about a year. I had gotten cancer, so I couldn't manage it anymore. It's like, but even when I was managing it, we were making money in the beginning, but it's hard work, man. And I really didn't sign up to work that hard. I did the bar for Dazzle to give her experience running a business, and then we hired Dazzle's brother, Dazzle's sister, Dazzle's sister-in-law. So we were hiring relatives to the bar because that was just right after the pandemic and they didn't have any jobs. So I was happy to do that. But even if we kept the bar going, man, it's just too much work, man. It was like not the really thing I wanted to do. It's like. Yes, lots of competitive business there, but we started one. Yeah, Ron, he started on a market like a food restaurant business. Going good so far. Her mom will run it when she comes to the U.S. Yeah, that's awesome, awesome, Ron, that you did that for your fiance and fiance's family. Because that's how it works here, man. Family is important here. I know many foreigners, they marry a Filipina and they don't want to help their family. But to me, I think you'll have a happier life here if you accept that. That if you find a Filipina partner, you marry a Filipina partner, you're marrying her family. Now, I don't want you to think you become an ATM for the family, but I think you should be, if I could have a chance to help Dazzle's family have a small business or help them in any way, I would do that because you would have a happier wife, your relationship, the family will love you more. So to me, it's like, but I do understand because sometimes there are families that get carried away and they marry a rich foreigner and the rich foreigner pays for everything. That situation happens, but it doesn't happen all the time. I set boundaries in the beginning. It's like, and I know Dazzle's family, they respect me. They're never gonna abuse my kindness or the things I provide for them. Maybe you did before, but why you named Yeah, I did before. We named it. It was just like I said. We weren't thinking that our channel was going to amount to anything. So, naming the channel, we've had the channel now for over 3 years now. It was gonna be just like us recording our life, like our adventures in the Philippines. So it was we didn't really think about. And when we were thinking, of a name, it's like, oh, Dazzle. I've always liked Dazzle's name, so we'll call it Dazzle TV. Can you think any negative aspects to living at Nucos Boracay? It looked like an ideal retirement. For me anyway, for Boracay Nucos, I would not mind it once I get my Social Security and we can afford to live at Boracay Nucos. Like I told my friend, he more likely I will be his neighbor at Boracay Nucos. I just, I've been around Boracay now 14 years. I know the lifestyle here, and I'll be 62 then. I can afford Boracay Nucos. I just don't see any negative, man, because like even our car now, Bumblebee, all that, I'll just get rid of all that and move to Boracay Nucos because I can live there by just riding the bus every day to get groceries and things like that. I'd rather do that, make my life even more simple. I don't have to drive any more a car. I don't have to ride a motorbike. I can live out the rest of my life in Boracay because I'm at that age. I'll be 62 by then. I'll be content living the rest of my life, and hopefully in 3 years, Asia Pacific Medical Center will be built in Nucos, so the hospital's gonna be there. I mean, I got the beach, I got the hospital, I got a nice place to live, secure place to live. I think for me anyway, not for everybody, because I know people will be like, that's not retirement. For me, that is my perfect retirement. I could see myself living out the rest of my life at Boracay Nucos in 3 years. My family used to make tamales every Christmas, but only pork and mole. Oh, mole, man! I haven't had mole. I gotta find mole now, JP. You created another hunt for me. The hunt for mole. I make many kinds and love to feed. Yeah. A friend of mine, my good friend, Darren, that's what he does here. He's got a Filipina girlfriend, and Darren, he's always like, he's smoking meat. He's making casseroles. He's introducing his girlfriend and girlfriend's family to American food. So man, that'd be something. Man, they'll be like, he's like a local hero where he lives. They're like, oh man, they're trying like all these American dishes. So you get here, JP, you'll be popular. You'll be popular with Filipinos if you start introducing them to American food. Nucos is amazing. However, I would get frustrated living in a hot. I wouldn't. For me, the tourist thing, it wouldn't bother me just because it's like I said, the tourists in Boracay, they're limited at White Beach. That's where all the tourists go. It wouldn't affect me. Even now, it doesn't affect me because I'm at Diniwid. If I don't want to see a tourist, I can just stay here in Diniwid. Same thing at Nucos. You wouldn't see many tourists there because it's away from White Beach to go to Nucos. At least 30 minutes to like 40 minutes on an e-trike and walking, so it's not easy for the tourists to go to Boracay Nucos, and it's secure anyway. It's a gated community. They just won't let people walk around there. It's not the security guys will check people. One thing I noticed or witnessed with your channel is your integrity and being honest. And always speak from your heart. Appreciate, keep sharing. Oh, thank you for the kind words. And that's always been my, I wanted that. I wanted honesty. Even when people reach out, I will tell you how it is. If it's bad, if it's good, if I don't think it's a good idea, I will tell it, from the heart. I might not be right, more likely I'm not right all the time, but it's like, and I never claim to be a know-it-all. I just want to share that, give you an honest opinion of how life is here in the Philippines. Does Boracay any bad tropical storms? No. Do Boracay get storms? Yes. Normally, around October, November, it's like typhoon season in the entire Philippines. We've had storms here where it damaged like the port, like the roof on the port, things like that. But usually, even if a storm comes in, 1 or 2 days later, everything's back to normal. You know, it's like that's one thing about Boracay is they're fast at fixing anything because the tourists, that's the money maker here for Boracay. So they don't want to like, have something happen and they can't afford it. All right, ooh, I'm getting low bat here. Good thing I noticed. A little longer here. I was like, man, I'm looking at my thing. It's like 1%. I'm glad it did. I gotta plug it here. That way I don't kill it. Yeah, right there. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna go through the comments here because my phone's battery, I just looked at it. It says 1%. I'm just gonna go through, make sure I answer everybody. Olsen, hey Olsen, yeah, good morning. Enjoy that camping trip, man. That's like awesome, man. I'm jealous, Olsen. I'm looking at your camper. You're there by the water, man. That's like perfect. Isaiah and Aliyah. All right, waving hello, man. Have a great time. Have a great time on your camping trip, man. That's so awesome. I'm a camper. I love camping, man. So it's like I'm jealous. Melissa messaged me, asked what I was doing. Told her watching your live stream. She told me to. Oh, thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Ron. Thank you for joining the live stream. Appreciate the support always, my brother. Hello, man. Thank you for all the comments on our videos. Hello, I appreciate you. I've been seeing you more and more on our videos. Thank you very much. Were you able to figure out what your battery health is at for your phone? Less than 80% health means it's time. Yeah, it's time to replace. I know the battery on this. It's an iPhone 10. When we go to Iloilo, I'm gonna get the battery replaced. Maybe even in Calibo. I think when we get back to Calibo, I'll check on getting the battery replaced. It's an old iPhone. Dazzle even said maybe just use her iPhone. It's like, she's got the newer iPhone. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Thank you. But I'm glad I saw it that it was at 1%. I was able to plug it to the laptop and now it's holding charge. Watching from Angeles. All right. Now I know where I'm very familiar with Angeles, man. I was stationed at Clark Air Base when it was still open. I was evacuated out of Clark in 1991. Very familiar. I still got friends there. My friend Ida lives in Sapang Bato. That's it. I thought I couldn't remember if it was Mabalacat Gate, but she lives right outside Sapang Bato. Actually, when I actually got diagnosed with cancer at Medical City Clark, and I was staying at my friend Ida's house at the time because I didn't know that Medical City Iloilo has the same functions at Clark. I always before when I was doing research with TRICARE, my thing was Clark was going to be my place to get my medical care if something serious happened. But now, now I can get all, anything that goes wrong with me health-wise, I can get it done in Iloilo City, only about 4-hour drive from our house. So I'll do that. From now on, it's like I don't have to leave Panay Island anymore, not like I used to. iPhone 10, go to the settings, battery, health, and charge. Okay, or I know I gotta replace it, HD, because it's not holding much charge now. Like when I started the live stream, it was like 100%. Now I'm at 1%, and I'm glad I noticed it. I plugged it to my laptop here. Great lives. Oh, thank you for the kind words, Solo. Appreciate it, my friend. All right, I'm gonna end the live stream here. Go walk, Chloe. I know she's excited to walk at the Diniwid Beach. Thank you, everyone, for joining the live stream. I appreciate all the support all the time. It's like means a lot to me that people continue to watch our channel and support us. Thank you very much. Take care, HD. Thank you again, brother. You're awesome, brother. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Hello. Thank you. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a good day.